Marcell Ozuna, with some help from his doppelganger, take down the Philadelphia Phillies 4-2 in 11 innings. Let's break the whole thing down on the Braves Postcast.
This is the Braves Postcast, your instant game reaction for the Atlanta Braves. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Yes, welcome on into the Braves Postcast. It is now Friday, April 11th. Let's talk about the Atlanta Braves taking down the Philadelphia Phillies 4-2 in 11 innings. This game, despite how long this took, this was a long day at the yard, everybody. It is 1 a.m. Eastern time as we are wrapping up with this game, but the Atlanta Braves have a Spencer Schwellenbach start spoiled by 2 hours and 44 minutes of rain delays. We go to extras, and all of the lack of hits with runners in scoring position all kind of resolve themselves in extra innings. Okay. Marcell Ozuna is the MVP of this game. There's no other way to do that, right? In the 11th inning, facing Joe Ross, 0-1 slider, center cut 85 miles an hour, launches it for the home run. Before that, Austin Riley, the guy who we have complained about for not being able to get the hits with runners in scoring position, he gets the hit with runners in scoring position. Double off the wall in right center, scores Ozzy Albies from second, ties the game at 2. And we're going to talk about the pitching and all this. We're going to talk about all this kind of stuff, but I want to talk about that inning first. And really, maybe even a couple of at-bats from Austin Riley, because the swing that he showed on the home run yesterday, the swing he showed on that hit to right center, this is the Austin Riley that we need. Okay? I don't know where that guy has been. He talked about this after the game last night. You know, he had 2 at-bats with the bases loaded and 2 outs, and it was 2 pop fly outs. Austin Riley discussed this after the game, and he said he has to be better. He has to fix his approach. Austin Riley clearly has figured out something that he has to do differently. It's a 4-pitch at-bat. He foul tips a fastball that's just outside the zone, belt high. He lays off an elevated sinker. He lays off that down and away slider. That's been the biggest issue for Austin Riley in recent, in his career, really. And then he takes a center cut fastball and he launches it to right, ties it up. And then again, Marcell Ozuna comes back around and gets the game winning hit. I believe they said it was the second walk-off Marcell Ozuna has had in the last decade. The Atlanta Braves aren't back, right? This offense is not back, okay? You still have issues. You still went 2 for 11 with runners in scoring position. But at the very end of the game, you finally came through and you got those hits. So Spencer Schwellenbach's start was both pitchers, Jesus Luzardo, Spencer Schwellenbach, really good starts in this one. They both go 6 innings, 6 hits off of Luzardo, 7 off of Schwellenbach, 1 walk, 6 strikeouts for Luzardo, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts for Schwellenbach. But the rain delay hits. And just real quick, I know that just about everybody who cares about the Braves enough to be in this postcast immediately after the game is going to also acknowledge this game should have been played at 12:35, 1:35, something like that. This game should never have gotten to a nighttime game on getaway day when both teams have to fly to other cities. The Phillies are going to St. Louis. Atlanta's going to Tampa. Both teams play tomorrow night. This game should never have been played this late where the weather could have possibly impacted it. But that's a money thing, right? They got to get the gate. They don't want to do the game while school is in. They want to do the game in the evening where they can get fans and things like that. This game absolutely should not have been played this late, but it was. And Spencer Schwellenbach probably would have come back out for another inning. Right. If you look at his pitch count, 81 pitches, 55 for strikes. He was absolutely going to come back for more until the rain delay. Again, 2 hours and 45 minutes. I have never seen a single starter come back after a rain delay of that length. I think the only saving grace here, we're going to get back to this game, but I think the only saving grace on Schwellenbach's start being cut off early like this is the fact that now you can probably throw him on regular rest next Tuesday, and that means you can probably slot Spencer Strider into Wednesday. He'd have one extra day of rest. You can slot him into Wednesday, the last game of the road trip, before you come home. So that's the only real saving grace there. But when Schwellenbach leaves the game, when the game restarts, I got to give it up to this bullpen. Just like last night. Last night, after Grant Holmes left the game, there was not a single Phillies hit. Tonight, when the game restarted, in 5 innings, there was a grand total of 1 hit. The bullpen absolutely did their job. I'm sorry. There was no hits. That was an unearned run. I'm sorry. I looked at this from the side here. Jose Suarez walked 3 guys. So that's why there was an unearned run, but there was no hits allowed. That's the second straight game, or the second straight game in the series where you've not allowed hits from your bullpen. Montero, I thought, looked really good in the 10th inning. The move from going fastball changeup to fastball splitter absolutely worked. And you're in a really interesting scenario here of Spencer Strider is probably going to come back next week. Do you send down a starter? Do you get rid of one of these relievers? What do we do? Is Suarez the guy that goes? He has to get DFA'd. Montero. Does Montero go? Does he get DFA'd? Or do you try to option somebody down? You can option down Daisybel Hernandez. I don't think you should do that. You can option down AJ Smith-Shawver. I don't think you should do that. Do they go with just 5 starters and option down Bryce Elder? We'll see what happens. Looking at the calendar, there is some off days coming up on some Thursdays. So if they wanted to try to just go with 5 starters for a week or two, they can probably do that. In just a minute, let's get into more about this game. We'll do that next, right here on the Braves Postcast. But first, today's episode is brought to you by our friends at Just Ingredients. When it comes to fueling your body after hours, when it's 7 hours into a baseball game, quality matters. That's why Just Ingredients is changing the game with clean, high-quality products designed to support better health and peak performance. Just Ingredients offers an NSF-certified line of protein powder, electrolytes, pre-workout, and creatine, all rigorously tested to ensure they're free from substances banned by major athletic organizations. Do not worry, the person doing the testing is not Jurickson Profar. Just Ingredients has also partnered with 2-time MVP Bryce Harper, who trusts the NSF-certified sports line to fuel his training and recovery and give him the energy to get over getting beat by the Atlanta Braves in 2 games out of 3. So visit justingredients.us, use code LOCKEDONMLB for 20% off. And for more wellness tips, visit @just.ingredients on Instagram. Welcome back to the Braves Postcast. And we do need to kind of bask in this win a little bit. I'm going to get to some of these comments in just a few minutes because we've got some great stuff in here. But we do need to bask in this win for a little bit because there were some things that Atlanta did that we are now kind of seeing our standard operating practice. We saw the Braves lay down 3 bunts in this game. Now, they didn't all work out. They did not all work out. But we saw multiple bunts by the Atlanta Braves. We saw Fairchild steal a base. Like, we saw a lot of different things going on. Now, you can tell not everybody has practiced bunting. They're not always very good at bunting, but for the people who have been frustrated about the state of the offense, things like that are showing that the Braves are trying to do something different, right? They are trying to do something that's not just always trying to hit a home run. We're seeing, like, the results may not work out, but the process, they are legitimately trying something else. Matt Olson had a massive at-bat. He didn't get on base, but he took, 12 pitches before the bat was resolved? So we're seeing some of these guys are showing they are willing to do different things. They are willing to change their game plans to try and get the offense going. At some point in time, Michael Harris needs to actually get a regular hit versus trying to swing at everything out of the zone or in the dirt and then get a bunt. But the point is, they're doing it. Nick Allen, I thought Nick Allen had a good at-bat. He made good contact in that inning. It was just right at somebody. Austin Riley is still, I think, the main one you have to figure out. I feel better about the swing he put on at the end of the game yesterday for the home run, the swing he put on for the double and extras today, because it was not only two really good swings, but it was the situations that he was in. The defense tonight was still fantastic. Matt Olson at first base, Austin Riley at third base. We saw some very good defense here. Jared Kelenic, I'm starting to, I jokingly said this to somebody. Jared Kelenic came in the game after the rain delay, took over for Stuart Fairchild, and he walked. He went 0 for 1 with a walk in this game. And I jokingly said, do we need to put him back in the leadoff spot? Because it's clear that you can't put Michael Harris and Ozzie Albies together at 1 and 2 anymore. Obviously, they didn't do that today because of what starter was out there, but we saw that earlier in this series, having Harris and Ozzie back to back. And the way that those two guys are swinging and missing so much and not making quality contact, not getting enough balls in play, you can't afford to do that. I'm starting to wonder, do you try to do a Kyle Schwarber at leadoff thing and do that with Marcell Ozuna? Right? Do you try Jared Kelenic up there? I don't really know what needs to happen. But this series, I think more so than any other win you could have had against any other team in baseball, this series was what I don't want to speak for every single one of you in here. I don't want to speak for you. But for me, this is what I needed, right? Coming into this series, things looked dire, right? It was very easy to imagine this team not ever getting out of that funk and this team not making the postseason. And I'm still not saying they're a lock for the postseason. I do think they'll make the postseason. Let's get that straight. But seeing them come in here and play the Phillies the way that they did, win 2 out of 3, and be in the third game late. They never got blown out in any of these games. They had an opportunity to win all 3 games, and they did win 2 of them. And for as much as we've complained about the bad luck when it comes to batted balls, as much as we've complained about the issues with runners in scoring position, and again, 2 for 11 tonight, still not completely fixed. All of those hits came in extra innings. But for at least a couple days, the Atlanta Braves were able to show you that while they may not be as good as the 2023 Atlanta Braves, they were able to beat a team that is above them in the standings, a team that won the division last year, and a team that is one of the favorites in baseball to contend for the National League and contend for the chance to go to the World Series. I don't think anybody thinks the Dodgers are not the favorites, but it could be argued the Phillies are right there in second place as far as contenders in the National League. And even with the struggles you had last year, the Braves had a winning record against the Phillies last year. So even when this team was arguably at its lowest, with all of the injuries last year and the start of this year, with all of the losses you stacked up to start the year, the Atlanta Braves can still beat the Philadelphia Phillies. And I'm going to sleep in the morning because it's late. But Philly Talk Radio tomorrow is going to be absolutely fantastic. And just make sure you check it out because I guarantee you they're going to be pissed and it's going to be hilarious. So, Victory Thursday. It's now Friday. Victory Friday. Let's go to bed. We've got another one of these tomorrow. Braves in Tampa. Gonna be a fantastic game. Do me a favor. If you're listening on audio, leave a 5-star review. Spotify, Apple, whatever Google's using for their podcast now. If you're on YouTube, subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell on both Locked On Braves and Locked On Sports Atlanta. So you know when we do this, we are back tomorrow with another postcast. I do not think Jake will be back from his trip in time for tomorrow's postcast, but if not, he will be back on Saturday. So we are getting the boys back together. We are getting the gang back together. Jake should be back, if not tomorrow, then by Saturday. But until next time, go Braves. This has been the Braves Postcast.